Hey everybody, this is Bobby Cool, Daddy Slick Breeze, and we have a special interview episode with Peter McBride, who you came in yesterday. Where'd you fly in from?
I flew in from San Luis Obispo, California.
Nice. So he just got added to the team, Team Dynamic Discs, about a month ago?
Yeah, about a month.
About a month ago. So we flew him out here so he can kind of check things out at the Dynamic Disc warehouse, and of course to get him on Disc Golf Answer Man so our listeners and fans can get to know you a little bit more. First of all, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. It's a little cold out here in Kansas. Not used to it. I'm spoiled in California, but
what was the temperature when you left?
About 60.
60? Well, that's not as warm as I thought it'd be. Yeah, we're looking at 42, so it's a little colder than where you came from.
Just a bit.
Now, have you lived in California all your life, or?
Yep, whole life. I was born and raised in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So that we can get to know you a little bit more about your disc golf, tell us real quick the story of Peter McBride and how you discovered disc golf.
Okay, so in fifth grade, in PE, we just threw lids to cones, and I was kind of aware of a course that was about a 5-minute bike ride from my house. So I thought that was really fun, just trying to throw discs at a target. So I got some money from my mom and bought some discs, and I pretty much played all summer and was hooked from that point. I really never stopped playing since then, and I'm lucky to have a really good disc golf community in my area. So they helped me along and took me to some events, and my mom and my dad are my biggest sponsors. They drove me. I started tournaments when I was 12, so they drove me to all my events pretty much until I could drive.
How long had you been playing until you finally played your first tournament?
It wasn't even a year.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. I started in late 2007, and then I played Masters Cup 2008 as my first event.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you really jumped in there, didn't you?
Yeah, jumping in the deep end.
So tell us the whole transition from just amateur status to pro status, or it wasn't that long, apparently.
No, it wasn't. So.
I mean, what made you think all of a sudden just to jump in there like that?
I slowly moved my way up, played some juniors, played some AM2, and then kind of worked my way up in AM1 and started getting beat a bit. And then I kind of just kept practicing and did a lot of putting. And then I played really well and won a couple events in advanced. And then I took down Masters Cup in an amateur. Mm-hmm. And then the next weekend I got a free entry to the pro weekend. And then I got 12th in my first NT. So, and I definitely just didn't think about it and just kind of executed my shots and decided to accept cash.
Really? So how did your mindset change once you accepted cash and you're going to play pro? Or what is the mindset for you, the change when you played in the amateur field moving to the pro?
It was definitely big because in amateur, especially being able to knowing that I could win some of the events, it's kind of a really different feel than stepping right into pro where there's the best in the world and you're going to get your butt kicked most weekends. So It's definitely a different feel being near the bottom right after you're on the top of a division. So
do you think that helped your game or?
It did, definitely. I had probably maybe 6 months to a year of a struggle, and then I kind of slowly changed my approach to it and then kind of started working my way up.
What do you think, looking back let's just go back to, 5 years from today and then looking at today, what are some of the biggest changes in your disc golf game that has evolved, like your form or your putting style? What's the biggest thing that really evolved over the time?
Definitely my form and my mental game.
Yeah.
Because mental game is huge. You really have to find what works for you and how you can focus, bring yourself to center and focus and execute your shot. And I think it's different for everyone, and you have to explore what works for you.
Now, tell us some of the basics as far as like what grip to use for drives.
I use a 3-finger power grip for my drivers, and then I use a kind of a small modified fan grip for pretty much everything else.
And why do you select those particular ones?
Just what I kind of just picked up the disc, and that's what feels comfortable.
That's what felt comfortable, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever changed up your grip at all in your career yet?
Yeah, last year I dropped my pinky out of my power grip for my drivers, and I just feel like I could get more torque on it because the pinky really not much strength there, and it felt like it was. One day I just picked it up and it felt like it was in the way.
And so
I just dropped it.
Get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now putting, what do you use for putting? Spin, push?
Spin. I'm a spin putt. I grew up playing Laguna Lake course, and it's very windy, so definitely had to be flat and spin putt.
Okay. And you've always been spin putt, never changed that up or anything. Yeah. Have you ever thought about changing up your putting style?
I have, but I feel like I'm so far invested into it that there's no need.
Yeah.
Because my automatic muscle memory will just go back to it, and I don't see a problem in it.
Excellent.
Problem with it.
Who would you say is most influential on your disc golf game as far as watching their form and their style?
I'm really lucky to be in California because we have lots of amazing 1,000 rated players, but I'd say Paul McBeth because he's one of the first players that I saw just absolutely destroy a course. Yeah. And it was kind of cool to watch him just turn his brain off and just execute every shot.
Excellent. Okay, so back to kind of the journey. You started playing pro, but when you first started playing pro, did you do a lot of touring, or was it mostly just the local stuff?
Mostly local stuff because I was still in high school. Okay. So I was lucky enough to be able to take a few Fridays off to go play some further away local events, but we have a lot of good events in California, and I could drive 10 hours and still be in California. So lots of good turnouts.
Now, what year did you start? Have you played a lot of, or I guess I'm saying, have you ever done a lot of touring?
I have, yeah. 2015 was my first real year. I hopped in Tim McDill's van, and we did about a month and a half of touring. And how'd that go? It went well. I won my first A tier and had some good finishes and a few other A tiers. So excellent. Have you played now? And I'm gonna have to keep it real. Like I keep it real. When they said we were looking to bring you on the team, I thought I've heard that name before, but I don't know that I've ever seen you or a lot of the bigger big events like Disc Golf Pro Tour and stuff like that. Did you play that circuit last year, the Disc Golf Pro Tour? Yeah, I played a lot of the Pro Tours and a handful of National Tour events. Okay. And I'm kind of embarrassed not knowing, but I mean, it's just, I can't keep up with every player that's out there and stuff like that. And you were one of the ones I was like, I know I've heard the name in certain circles, but I couldn't place it. So what are your plans for going into 2018 as far as touring? I'm going to tour full time again in my van, and I'm super excited. Going to hit Memorial and then go to Texas and kind of hit the A tiers around there until Glassblown Open, and then head back west and then work my way up the West Coast, it's nice that they kind of have the tour lined up like that. So Masters Cup, San Francisco, Beaver State. Awesome. So a lot of big ones hit a lot of the big ones. That's good. Yeah. Now you started out. Now who was your first sponsor? I started out with DGA. They sponsored me when I was, I want to say 13 or 14. How did that feel when you got that call or email, whatever, that said you were sponsored? It was awesome. It felt amazing. Now, was being sponsored something that, like, at some point you're like, oh, I'm good at this. I want to get sponsored, or was that a motivation for you as far as disc golf? Not so much. I kind of just played, just kept playing, and they approached me and because they thought I had I had a future. So that wasn't really my motivating factor. I just loved the sport and wanted to get better at it. I like that. That's there are some people, it seems like being sponsored becomes a motivation of theirs. And I'm not necessarily faulting someone for thinking that, but I think you should have a love for the game and then the sponsorship will come type attitude. Yeah, totally. All right. So DGA, you were sponsored by DGA. Mm-hmm. And then from there, did other sponsors come along, or did you change sponsorship? How'd that go? Yeah, I got picked up by Legacy. Okay. And the Rico brothers are awesome. They're super supportive. But yeah, I was there with them for 3 years. So awesome. Cool. Well, of course, now for 2018, you're here with Dynamic Discs, and we're happy to have you. Now, what I did is on our Facebook group for the Disc Golf Answer Man, I posted that you were going to be on here, and we were see if people can come up with some questions. And we'll use that to get to know you a little bit more if you're ready for that. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. This one is from Richard. He says, would a TD-only event in Hawaii be of interest in our sport? TD only? A TD-only event in Hawaii. That's an interesting question for you, but what are your thoughts? I guess. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Hawaii? I know I would want to go to Hawaii. Yeah, Hawaii is awesome. I went for the Big Island Open last year, and it was amazing. I bet it was. It was my first time off mainland America, so it was a very big change. That's very cool. I've been to Hawaii a couple times with the family, and
I know I want to go back. I want to take my wife back there again because it's an amazing place to go visit. Let's see. What tournament are you looking forward to the most in 2018? This is from Mikey.
That's a tough one. I probably have a list of at least 5, but
Give us top 3.
Top 3. Okay. Beaver State Fling is a must. Beautiful venue, beautiful time of year to be up there. And Salmon River Disc Golf Tournament, which is usually the weekend before, up in the Trinity Alps in Northern California. The winner gets a helicopter ride through the Trinity Alps, so that's pretty special.
Very nice.
And also Vibram Open.
Okay. What type of course do you typically like to play? Open field or more wooded?
I like more wooded courses. I really like it when you're forced to do a certain shape of shot.
Okay. Let's see. Josh says, what is your top priority goal for 2018?
My biggest goal is to get is to be rated 1020 or more.
All right. What are you rated right now?
1016.
Oh, nice. 1020 would be a good one to get. What new PDJ rule do you think is going to make the biggest difference this season? This is from Rick.
Probably the footing rule, I think.
For off of your lie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's just something that I keep hearing people talk about. I mean, I think it's just for. I was talking to A-Ray about it in text, and it seems like it's just for when you're doing a walk up to your throw to kind of help you with that, so there's not people not so picky. But it will be interesting to see if a few people call, if a call is made based off that particular rule.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Jarrett. When being signed by a new sponsor, what is first expected of you, and what do you ask of them?
That's a good question. There's definitely a lot of communications required, and it really depends what kind of player you are, and there's a lot of variables with that. So there's we could go into that for a long time.
There's probably a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think first expected. I mean, I guess from my point of view, really just knowing what's expected. Well, I mean, I guess what's first expected of you is to know what is expected of you. Just good. Knowing that from our standpoint, just knowing that, we expect you to go out there and do your best, and take it seriously. Not that anybody would not take it seriously, but know that now you represent a little more than just yourself. You don't just represent the brand Dynamic Discs. You represent every team member that's on Dynamic Discs.
Yeah, that's a good one. Definitely be positive in your representation of them, and be aware that it's not just you out there, like you said.
No. And in fact, I've even had a talk. Sometimes I talk at our employee meetings that we have here. And, because social media can be a pretty sticky thing sometimes when people say certain things on social media. And I always tell them that when you say things, you're not just saying things to represent just yourself. You're representing everybody that works here and everybody that, makes money here and pays their bills with its money. And so, if you say things to tear down DD, you're not just tearing yourself down, tearing down DD, you're tearing down everybody else that works here. Yeah. So you got to kind of think that, I think, as a team player, is that, you're representing more. It's bigger than just you. Yeah, let's see. Jordan says, when switching sponsors over to Dynamic Discs and rebuilding your bag, is the emphasis on finding new discs that fill your old slots, or is it more finding out what discs can do and adjusting to your gameplay or adjusting your gameplay? That's a good one.
For me, it's more finding discs that are similar. And I know even the similar ones are going to be slightly different. You have to find the nuances in the different molds and plastics, but it's really finding what discs fit in your game. Because at least for me, I'm at a point where I want to kind of have discs match my game instead of change my game entirely.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that at some point, either we sent you a box or you knew some people, and you're able to get out there and throw different discs. Was there any disc that that surprised you, or that you're like, whoa, this is my favorite for at least starting out switching over?
I'll give you 2. I really like the Convict and the Felon were really a big surprise to me.
Yeah.
The Convict's just an amazing disc. You can shape it through any shot really if you want. And I'm really surprised how good of a sidearm disc it was, because I don't like to rip into my sidearms that much. So a little more touchy sidearm, it works good for that. And then the Felon is a really dependable overstable disc that that I'm going to lean on a lot this season.
Excellent. You and Eric Oakley will be good friends then.
Definitely.
He loves the thief, or as he likes to call it, the thief. He loves the thief. Keith wants to know, what is he using to replace his Thunderbirds?
Thunderbirds. Right now, I think I think I'm going to beat in a Felon for now.
Okay.
Which it has a slightly less glide, but it'll be just as far.
Let's see. Joseph, are you going to be living in your van by the river this season?
Yeah, that's my plan. On my way to Shelley Sharp Memorial, my friend and I camped right next to the Colorado River. So yes is the answer.
Jason asked, what are other pro players that some people might be more familiar with that resembles your game?
I'd say Eric McCabe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We talked about it. We actually were just talking about this yesterday, and we both like to approach the basket pretty straight on, throw straighter shots at it instead of a big hyzer. Like if I was in an open field, I would still throw my mids or putters right at the basket for an upshot instead of a hyzer like a lot of people lean on.
Okay. Let's see. What is your favorite trilogy disc so far? He said mine is the Warden. Apparently Keith likes Wardens. Now we already talked about the Convict and the Felon. I guess, are those really your favorites, or do you have a favorite that you're really liking?
Those are just ones that surprised me, but
Yeah.
I really like the Moonshine EMAC Truth.
Yeah, that seems to be a favorite among. Why do you like that one?
Because it's a very shapeable disc. I think I'll lean on it a lot in the woods. It's a really quick disc for a mid range, so I'll throw it a lot for straight to slight hyzers to slight anhyzers. You can really do anything with it.
Excellent. Logan wants to know, what moment in your career are you most proud of?
Probably setting a course record at the Pro Tour last year.
Okay.
Or 2 years ago. Sorry.
Which course was it?
It was Fox Run in Vermont.
What did you shoot?
I shot a 13 down.
Whoa. What was the record before that?
It wasn't. I think it was about this. It was a stroke or two worse, but it was a new setup, so they added more OB and changed a few baskets. So it was kind of the first chance to do it. It only lasted 3 hours though. But I was still proud of it.
Oh, for 3 hours, you were the man, huh?
Yeah, Paul beat it by 2, I think.
That reminds me of, what was it? It was at the Memorial. Anton shot like an incredible round, and everybody was talking about it. And then Paul Macbeth came back and like beat it by 1 stroke or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember watching the coverage, and people were just like blown away. Anton is amazing. He shot a something. I can't remember what it was. It's incredible. I can't believe it. And then like a few hours later, when Macbeth came in, he had beaten it. So Steele had stolen that thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What of the new discs that are coming out? Let's say for 2018, have you got to throw any of the new ones?
I haven't. I'm probably in an hour. I'm going to be able to though. I'm excited about the Explorer.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because I feel like the only gap in my bag right now is a shapeable fairway driver that I can hit pretty hard and it'll go straight.
Awesome. Now you mentioned you keep saying shapeable. Kind of talk us through, unpack that a little bit. Why is that important to be able to shape your shots when playing in tournaments?
Because I really like to have one disc that I beat in and have different molds, or have the same mold but different stages of wear. And then I usually have a good neutral disc in the middle that if I want to throw it on a slight ante, it'll hold it. And if I want to throw it straight, it'll hold it. Because if I want to throw it on a hyzer, it'll hold it. Because I really like to have that one disc that you throw on a lot of different holes, because I feel like you can build your confidence a lot more than picking up different discs for slightly different shots.
Okay.
It's just a lot more, for me, it's a lot more confidence inspiring to have this one disc that I throw for similar shots.
I gotcha. Chris Telespo wants to know how you're such a cool person.
I don't know. Thank you, Chris.
Oh, good old Chris. Brian wants to know, are you related to Danny McBride?
I am not, no.
This is a good one. Timothy, what is one disc you are going to miss, and what will you be trying to replace it with?
I'd say the Rival, but I think the Explorer will be a good replacement.
We'll see. Hopefully, maybe we can do some filming of you out there throwing some of the prototypes. So that'd be good. How many EMAC Truths will you bag?
Probably just 2 right now.
Okay.
I have a Moonshine that's pretty straight, and then a regular lucid that's more on the understable side, and then I have three anchors that I really like because I like to hit my mid ranges pretty hard, especially in the open.
Yeah.
So the anchor does a little better job for me on that.
Excellent. Let's see, where did it go? Matthew wants to know if there are any courses that you're looking to get revenge on this year.
That's a good one. I'd probably say I want to play, not necessarily revenge, but I am excited for Worlds because those courses complement each other really well, Fox Run and Brewster Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of wanting revenge on both of them.
Nice. Seth Fenley wants to know, is your kitten joining you on tour?
No, sadly not.
Yeah. What do you have? What kind of cat?
Oh, it was actually my friend's kitten.
Oh, okay.
But it liked to climb on my shoulder, and I just walked around with it. So.
I thought you were going to give maybe Eric and Tina Spout a challenge for kitty disc golf fandom. Let's see if we got other questions coming in. Now, after you're here for how long are you here for in Emporia?
Barely 2 days.
2 days, and then you go back to California.
Flying back on Thursday.
Now, are you playing in Vegas and then Memorial, or just Memorial? Or
I'm just doing Memorial. I like to. That's a pretty tiring stretch right there, especially to start the year off. I kind of like to focus on Memorial.
Now, someone thought you were maybe going to move out to Emporia now that you're on Team Dynamic Discs. I highly doubt that.
No, probably not. I really don't spend that much time at home touring full time, so it kind of might not make sense.
Yeah. So, let's see. What types of events would you like to see more of in the disc golf community? This is from Haynes.
I'm a big fan of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I really like what Steve's doing, so I guess well-run events like that. So
nice. Let's see if I can find. That's a lot of the questions we were able to just zip right through. Well, this is an interesting question. Richard likes to ask the weird questions and the straight on questions.
Bring it on.
What are your thoughts about disabled players using motorized carts in sanctioned events, such as the disabled player on the PGA Tour? I didn't know there was a disabled player on the PGA Tour.
That's a hard question. Yeah.
That is a hard question because I don't know.
Yeah. That's kind of might be a rules gray area.
Yeah.
I mean, if they really need it to play, they should be able to have it, I think. But it's a fine line.
I would say it's a fine line just because of I can't remember the guy's name. I can't remember where I've seen him a couple years ago where he has a real fancy wheelchair that allows him to stand up if he needs to. It's like very motorized. And, he was playing disc golf. He was out throwing and making putts. I don't know how it would work as far as flow of play or speed of play, with someone in a wheelchair. And then some of the courses, I mean, I don't know that a wheelchair would be able to access some of that.
Yeah, definitely course dependent because like country club out here would be fine, but then you go out to De La and definitely not getting up the hill, or probably not getting up the hill in that.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting. That's an interesting question. What is your favorite bag color?
I'm rocking a black and red Ranger bag right now, so I like that combo.
Nice. Is it the black and red, the stripe one, the Stoke? Or
okay, the striped one.
Nice. Let's see. Just trying. Does Robert McCall's hair look as flammable as it does in person as it does in the videos?
Yes.
We should test that theory out.
He likes to keep away from fires.
He definitely keeps away from fires just because so his hair. He's got that Dapper Dan stuff in his hair, so he's got to be careful. Well, cool. Well, that's all the questions we have. So, it was good to get to know you, Peter. I'm excited to see you out on tour, representing DD. I know I'm going to be traveling to a lot of the events, and I'll see you out there. We'll get some pictures and videos. I'm sure you're looking forward to it as well, getting out there.
Yeah, definitely.
How did it go at the event? What was the event you just played last weekend? I
played the Shelley Sharp Memorial, which is at Vista del Camino.
How'd that go for you?
It went well. I got fourth place. I shot
nice
10:30 rated golf, so I'm really excited.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Now, how do you approach the mental side? Like, let's say you start out and you're doing really well the first 6 holes, and then all of a sudden it starts going downhill. How do you get yourself back on track?
I usually just look around and try to distract myself. I look around and try to find a cool tree to look at or some beautiful aspect of the park and to distract me by.
Yeah.
So and also just try to clear my mind and not even think about what's the future holds or the past holds and just focus on the shot that's ahead of me right now.
Do you ever change your game, or do you think, I've got to get more aggressive? Or
no, I don't. I've found in the past, if I don't stick to my game plan, most of the time it bad things happen.
Yeah. Well, describe for us maybe like your practice routine. What do you, when you say I'm going to go out and practice, what does that involve?
That's I really like to change it up, because if I do the same thing over and over again, I can get bored with it really easy. So on average, I'll go out and play 9 holes and then throw all the different shapes I can on the hole. Kind of just throw some weird shots, and then throw putts on every hole, or go out and do field work. Go out and do an hour of field work.
Now, when you say field, like, tell us a little bit more. What does field work mean? Like, are you throwing, like, you just emptying your bag, or are you throwing just all your mids, or what's field work?
It really depends on how big of a field I have, but ideally I just have my bag, and then I warm up with my putters, throw some mids, and try to hit a point in the field, and then kind of do some full flex driver shots, and then empty my bag back and forth a couple times. And
so you're actually picking a point on the field, and you're saying, how do I get my discs to that point? Right?
And then sometimes one way I do all hyzers with all my discs, and then coming back I do all anhyzers or all straight shots. So
just to see how they react when you do it that way.
Exactly.
I like that.
Because being a tournament player, you need to know what your disc is going to do in every situation.
Yeah.
Because you never know what weird angle you're going to have to throw with your disc, and sometimes a huge flex sidearm that pans out is going to have a way better result than try to throw a hyzer, backhand hyzer.
Very interesting. Now, as far as putting practice, do you do the hole where you do 5 feet, 10 feet, 15, 20 feet, or what type of practice routine do you have for putting?
Not usually. I like to mix it up with that as well, but sometimes I do what you said and set a putter at every 5 foot intervals and then hit a putt there. But most of the time I work on 20 to 40 foot putts, because those are the ones that really are important if you want to play some good golf.
Sure. Very cool. What are some of your pre-round routines? Stretching, drinking a Monster, having a piece of pizza. I've seen it all. What's your pre-round routines?
I like to make sure I'm hydrated and I have enough food in me. That's my first priority when I get up before a round.
Yeah.
And then definitely do stretching before every round, and then slowly work my way to longer shots. Like hit some putts first, throw some up shots, throw some mids, throw some drivers. And then once I feel nice and loose, I usually go to the practice basket and get in at least 10 minutes of focused putting, if not 10 to 30 minutes, depending on how I feel that day. And then usually I like to stop about 5 to 10 minutes before my tee off time, and kind of just relax, maybe do a little extra stretching and try to clear my mind before the round.
Is there anything, now we always talk about pre-round routine, but is there anything that you do after the tournament's over or after the day is over? Any routine for that?
Not really routine. I definitely like to eat a lot of food because you use a lot of brain power and body power.
Yeah, that's true. What's something that maybe someone would find in your disc golf bag that would surprise him, or just something that you think people tend to forget to put in their bag that's helpful?
Kind of weird here, but nail clippers. That's a big thing. If my nails are too long, the way that I grip my discs, it's not good.
Yeah.
I can't quite get my pads on them right. So.
That's interesting. Plus you can use it because we were at somewhere and someone asked for someone for nail clippers, and I was thinking, you're gonna clip your nails out here? But they were clipping little pieces off the disc.
Definitely. If there's a lot of rocks, that's a good method.
Yeah, I guess it's not illegal because you're not shaping. You're just taking the little nicks out of there. So anyway, well, very cool. All right, Peter. Well, that's all the time we have. But again, thanks for coming in and let us get to know a little bit more about you. We'll learn more about you as we follow you on the touring and stuff like that. And then, of course, we're going to go grab some lunch and then let you get back to doing some disc shopping.
Yeah,
Now, are you
Bobby.
picking up your whole lot? Are you picking up a lot of discs and taking back with you or just a few?
Yeah, quite a few. I want to. I like to feel all my discs beforehand. That's my favorite thing. So I'm kind of getting all my backups for the year, pretty much.
Now, I know maybe you're not quite familiar, but are you liking the Lucid or the Fusion or the Bio?
I'm still experimenting with it.
Yeah?
I've only really thrown the Biofusion and the Lucid, which I really like both of those plastics. But I picked up a couple Fusion Enforcers that I'm excited about.
What's a disc? I keep thinking questions as to where. What's a disc that people might be surprised that you're liking?
I guess the Dagger. I'm putting with the Dagger, so.
Okay, so putting with the Dagger. Why'd you pick that one?
I've picked it up before. I switched over and it's a floaty putter and it seems to match my putt well. So I had confidence before with it. So
you like that more deeper rim, that feel to it? Is it more feel or more what the disc is doing for you?
It's definitely a good combination of each because it doesn't feel that deep for me. It fits in my hand really well.
Yeah,
and I like the flight of it. It's nice and glidey, but it has some good stability near the end.
Yeah,
so definitely both.
Are you one that throws your putter a lot off the tee pad?
Yes, but not my main putters. I usually keep 2 discs that are only for putting. I never throw them. But I do have a throwing Dagger in my bag right now.
And now, is that the only putter that you're throwing is the Dagger? Or is there other?
No. So I throw a lot of putters, especially on wooded courses.
Yeah.
So I'll probably have at least 2 to 3 putters right now. I have a beat-in Warden that Eric Oakley gave me. And then I just picked up a Sarek, so I'm going to try that one out.
Yes. Eric really likes the Sarek, and I like it as well. Very, very straight.
Perfect.
I imagine for me, it's, I haven't thrown it. I need to throw it. I haven't thrown it in a long time, but it goes pretty darn straight. So I'd imagine with you, if you put a little hyzer on it as you throw it, it's going to throw really nice and straight for you.
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I like hyzer flips to straight putters because it's one of the unique discs that you can get to go straight for its whole flight.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so yesterday we did surveys and polls. I want to ask you, when I say wow, that disc is stable, does that mean it turns to the left or does that mean it goes very straight neutral?
I'd say I use it as a slang for turning to the left.
Yeah.
But I think that's just slang. I think what it should mean is stable is straight, overstable is to the left, but it's easier to say that disc's really stable.
Right.
So.
Well, I know like McCabe was saying that back in the day, there was only stable or understable.
Mm-hmm.
There was never really the overstable. So when someone would say that disc is stable, they meant it went to the left a lot.
Yeah.
Robert made a point that if someone says, man, that disc is stable, that means it goes to the left a lot. But I think there's some confusion sometimes when I talk to people, when they describe things, that there's starting to be the 3 descriptions. Stable means straight, neutral. Overstable means obviously left. Understable means it's going to turn to the right. So I was just curious to see what people's thoughts are. Oh, one last question. This is very important. And people are going to hate me for asking this.
Uh-oh.
Because I beat it with a stick. When you're out there shopping and you're looking at and you're trying to figure out discs and you're picking them up and you're feeling them and stuff like that, feel how the rim feels. Are you paying attention to the numbers?
No.
Why not?
When I started, they didn't really exist.
Yeah.
So I just kind of go off feel and then what they fly like and what other people recommend or how they throw them.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my thing is that I know that flight numbers are a guide for a lot of people, but I really feel like people take it too far. And
I agree.
Yeah, they get too particular to the point where people argue.
Yeah.
That should be a 5. No, that should be a speed 6 or I tell this story all the time. I was out in Manchester, I think. Someone wanted a specific speed and a specific turn. And I said, well, tell me what you're throwing now and tell me what you want the disc to do. So I handed him a Convict. It was new at the time. He threw that Convict and it was such a sweet flight. He even threw it back at us. Such a sweet flight. And then he's looked at it and it was a Worlds one. So I don't think I didn't have any numbers on it. He said, but what are the numbers? So we found out what the numbers are. And he goes, oh, no. I'm looking for more like a speed whatever. And I was like,
no,
it just did a beautiful flight for you. And because it's not what you think it should be as far as numbers, you said no.
Yeah, I agree with you. People take it too seriously. And for me, it's kind of the only two numbers that really I think matter, this is just my opinion though, is the speed and the glide. Those are the only two that I really take seriously, because I think the other two are really dependent on how you throw. But the speed is going to pretty much stay the same, and the glide is going to stay the same. So
right. Now, I know it's something that people talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I know that once you get to know a disc and you're like, oh, that's a whatever, that's a this, and someone will say, oh, no, I think it feels more like a Glide 4, not a Glide 5.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturer screwed up. They messed up. Well, no, it's how did they mess up?
Yeah,
they didn't. It's just a number and it's a guy. Anyway, I can go on and on.
The perfect example is is this disc right for you? Where you and Eric throw them, the disc is not going to do. It might not even do the numbers for either of you.
Exactly.
It might be for someone right in between your throw. So
right.
It really.
Anthony wants to do some videos where we literally, I think it's Anthony, where we grab people of different skill levels and hand them a blank disc and don't even tell them what it is, have them throw it and then assign numbers, but not tell them what everybody else said.
That's awesome. I'm a fan of that.
I think I want to do that too. So anyway, okay, we're getting off on a tangent. Sorry. We'll let you get back to shopping, guys, and I hope you'll see more of Peter McBride while he's out there. Make sure you look for the different tournaments he's going to play. We're going to start putting people's schedules on the Dynamic Disc website so people can kind of follow the different team players that they enjoy watching. So look out for Peter McBride's schedule and watch him as he plays out there. I'm looking forward to see some good things from you this year.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby. Thanks for having me on.